War. War never changes. Words uttered by Ron Perlman in the iconic Fallout games. But we're not looking at Fallout today. Instead, we're looking at a similar, profound game filled with existentialism, isolation, hope, despair, and many more of the feelings I have on a day-to-day basis. I'm Joe, a former games industry professional and pre-apocalyptic human. Today, we're looking at Metro 2033 Redux for the PC. Metro 2033 was originally released in 2010, however the Redux edition was released in 2014 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Switch got to it 6 years later. 2014 was a year that many regarded as a bad year for games.
I hate this so much.
However, it did come with iconic games like Dark Souls 2, Destiny, Mario Kart 8 and Five Nights at Freddy's. It was the start of a new era in consoles as the PS4 and Xbox One had come out at the end of the previous year. However, they didn't get up to much in the following year. Metro 2033 Redux may not be as big as some of the titles mentioned, however, it was critically acclaimed with critic ratings putting it at a 90 on Metacritic.
Should be fun. More dangerous, even better, right?
Developed by Ukrainian developer 4A Games and published by Deep Silver, Metro 2033 Redux was a remastered version of the original Metro 2033 game that brought updates to the engine which led to graphical changes, gameplay changes and new features. This first-person shooter game offers a wide variety of gameplay and backs it up with a strong narrative based on a novel. It's also classed as a survival horror, however, it's more like a modern survival horror, in that it leans more on general action rather than pure survival horror. The story follows a man named Artyom and his journey to save his home station. There are a wide range of characters that Artyom meets on his journey with different ideologies, personalities, all sorts, all adding new perspectives to the main character's view on the world. There isn't really a traditional cast of characters, as they're never around for long enough to be established as your group. They're all more like ships passing in the night. I'd played this game already, years ago. However, I was still excited to get into this game and especially to review it. You're greeted with a main menu that in itself tells a bit of a story. Artyom is writing his tale out on a typewriter in a metro, which shows that life hasn't changed for the better yet. However, there's hope it seems, as it looks like he's got a wife and a kid. It's all left to your interpretation and is not revealed in any of the endings to this game. The menu theme somehow captures the whole emotion of the story you're about to experience. It's really well done. The game comes with 2 different modes to play through the main game. There aren't just 2 different modes, there are also different difficulty levels that change the way you play. Obviously there's the default normal difficulty, but there's also Ranger Normal and Ranger Hardcore. They both make the game more immersive through changes such as disabling HUD, less loot, more damage, similar things to that. The hardcore one just takes it up an extra notch. I really do like how the different modes and difficulties actually change how you play, rather than just making enemies more of a bullet sponge. And talking about changing how you play, this game does an excellent job of allowing you to play your own way. Do you want to sneak past the enemies, or do you want to go guns blazing and blast through? Sneaking can be harder and requires more patience, whereas blasting through can be quick and easy, but you're losing valuable ammo if you go blasting through, especially if you decided to pick one of the more immersive modes. The game also does a really good job of keeping the tempo up. The levels are very different. Some have you sneaking around pipes all alone, others have you with a squad of soldiers fighting hordes of monsters, some have you in the midst of battles between humans. It's filled with variety and you're rarely ever bored. You can also explore a lot for such a linear game, and this can lead you to secrets like journal entries, safes that require keys to open, better weapons, all sorts. I also do like the gas mask mechanic, as it does create a sense of urgency and make you feel like you're actually in a post-apocalyptic world. However, I never really felt like it was going to run out, except for one time, so I'm a bit mixed on that. So far, I've been sounding like a massive fanboy. I need to put my critical hat on for a second and talk about some downsides in the gameplay. I found the weapon menu to be a bit tricky. Switching weapons is easy, you can cycle through them like any other game, but when it comes to throwing weapons, that story changes. You need to bring up a menu and switch to the grenade or knife you want to use, rather than say doing a Halo and utilising a button to switch through projectiles. As far as I recall, there wasn't anything telling me how to do this, and when you Google it, there's a lot of people asking the same thing. It's really weird because there's a button to wipe your gas mask, which I do think is cool. However, it's odd that that's a thing, but not a button to change your throwing weapon. There's also the fact that you could run around getting damaged and healing yourself with a medkit, which isn't really very immersive. Disclaimer for this one though, as I wasn't playing on Ranger difficulty, which might change this. The AI can be cheesed too sometimes, or can do the opposite and cheese you. Here's me getting cheesed by the AI. Looks like fun, doesn't it? It wasn't. However, I still enjoyed the gameplay, and there's a lot more positive that can be said than negative about it. On the visual side of things, it isn't the best looking, as it is a remaster of a game from 2010. This also means some of the characters look really odd and have not taken the remaster very lightly. However, the game definitely does a good job of painting a picture, whether that's showing a bleak future, a creepy location, or a post-war military bunker. It does its job. To back up that claim, when playing this game you feel a sense of relief when you find humanity again, or if you've come to a friendly station. But this contrasts to the bleakness of the outside world, including some of the tunnels. The audio backs this up, and then some. Some of the soundtracks in this game are haunting, powerful pieces that really stick with you. I'm not a music expert, but the songs somehow perfectly encapsulate the emotion behind this game. Go listen to the soundtrack right now and you'll see what I mean. When you get to the rest of the audio, it really does build an atmosphere. In the stations there are normal human interactions going on, arguing, crying, happiness. In the tunnels you can hear voices, howls, despair. Not much more to say here except the audio is great. Now, on to the masterpiece at the centre of this game, the narrative. Spoiler free of course. The story isn't just a simple post-apocalyptic adventure. There are many themes and symbolism at play at the heart of this game.
A shrine to hope. Even in these times, we can't relinquish the things that make us human.
A big one is hope and despair. There's a constant battle between the two throughout the game. You lose people, you gain people, the world is torn to pieces, yet here are people celebrating life and telling stories. Your home station is under attack, but you start off by looking at pictures of monuments of the old world. You can see that Artyom still has hope left in him, and his journey inspires hope in others. Like I pointed out earlier, even the menu is a battle between hope and despair. Arguably the biggest theme of this game is humanity's struggle with itself. One of the characters from the game sums it up best.
Force answers force. War breeds war, and death only brings death. To break this vicious circle, one must do more than just act without any thought or doubt.
It's interesting that the story was written in 2002, and 22 years on it still feels relevant to current day events. There are multiple endings to this game, and this quote along with many others really make you evaluate your decisions before the conclusion of this story.
If it's hostile, you kill it. Take a close look at the road you follow, Artyom, and be aware of how it might end.
The endings really make you consider your actions. There's a lot more themes and symbolism throughout this game. I would have to leave that to someone a lot smarter than me to understand and explain properly. But even if I don't fully comprehend the pieces that make up the overall artwork, I'm still affected by it and in awe of how well it's written. Fast forward back to the year 2024. Metro 2033 had 2 more games in the series. I've played Last Light, which is the sequel to this one. I haven't played Exodus yet, which is the sequel to Last Light. 4A have confirmed that there is another mainline Metro coming after Exodus. For now, there's a VR game coming out this year, 2024. Weirdly enough though, there's not much detail about it considering it's coming out this year, but we'll see how that plays out. It's safe to say that this franchise is still up and running. To conclude the video, Metro 2033 is a game that has had a massive impact on me. It makes you think, it makes you feel, and it doesn't compromise on the gameplay to do that. Honestly, if I was to create a wall of must plays, this would be on it. Since you guys made it all the way to the end, let me know in the comment section what your favourite post-apocalyptic game is. I feel Fallout may always be my go-to for this, but Metro 2033 does deserve a shout out. I also hear the Stalker games are good, but I haven't played one yet. Thanks for joining me on this journey through time. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, and be sure to check back in next week for something very wacky and unusual. Bring your snacks and I'll see you then.